well-known Indiana Jones quote. So.
That and it belongs in a museum, but we'll get to that.
It belongs in a podcast. Like,
There we
not
go.
Funny,
there we go.
Not cool.
All right, we got the SD card in.
We do.
All right, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's
Little
before.
subtle dig of me there. Thank you. I just opened up to you. About a really serious incident.
It's before and after the movies. We're back here in our summer blockbuster extravaganza, and
Episode
we're
count?
44, I think.
No, I think we're further.
Creed
than
3
that.
was 43. Oh, maybe 45 actually. We got producer John in the house.
He's on it.
He's on it, but he's a bit slow to it, but that's okay.
Yeah, that was very reluctant.
Today we'll actually be doing a live audience taping as people filter in, so that will be exciting. But yeah, we invite you guys to come along as we do Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
44.
This is episode 44?
Wow.
Oh, okay. Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny, starring
Harrison Ford.
Phoebe Waller-Bridges or Bridger? Bridge?
Yeah. Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, we'll get to Mads. Antonio Banderas.
John Rhys Davis.
Yeah, thought that was Jonathan Rhys-Meyers at first.
Yeah, I know.
I got a little bit excited. Toby Jones.
Yeah, that's the last one I got.
Karen Allen from the first one and the
Oh,
fourth
she's
one.
in this one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know in what capacity, but yeah.
Shy's coming back, right?
Let's get into the fast questions.
Post-credit scene. Mutt
Question
Jones
number
in
1.
the leather jacket of destiny.
Swinging with some monkeys. Are we going to get a reference to Mutt or the Crystal Skull at all?
Not the Crystal Skull, but I think we'll get visual archival photographs of Mutt when he's just looking through an old box.
Okay. Did Spielberg direct Crystal Skull?
Yep. So he produced, that was a full-on collaboration with Lucas and Spielberg. They went all out on that one. And the reason I have a little bit of admiration for Crystal Skull is because it's got that George Lucas just bizarreness to it.
Yeah, I had no issue with Crystal Skull.
Yeah, where it's like only he can like just so unapologetically do some certain things that are just so stupid, but they just work in his narrative world where it's just B movies and out there concepts like Attack of the Clones or whatever. Just jump to mind. It's got that same imprint.
I hated, like, the biggest complaint for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was, like...
King of the Crystal Skull. Doesn't even know the name.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull
Yeah.
was the, like, the aliens, and they called it, like, too far-fetched.
Right.
And, like, you talk about the 3 movies leading up to it. Like, you have the Ark of the Covenant, you got Kaliman, like, pulling a heart out, and you got
Right.
the fucking Last Crusade, which is, like, Jesus' chalice. And you're gonna tell me you draw the line at aliens? Or not even aliens?
I think it was more like the way they were portrayed and like the classic alien look with the eyes and the saucer. I think that's what, but people
That's
don't
so
realize that's what
indie,
they're
dude.
that's what they're homaging to.
Yeah.
But I remember it's funny you mentioned that because there's this interview with Spielberg where he's talking about how the 4th movie came about, and it was Lucas who wanted to do aliens really badly, and he's like, oh, by that point I had done Close Encounters, I'd done E.T.
yeah.
So I'd done my alien movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's like, okay, like I'm gonna convince you, and then he's like, call me back like 6 months later, and he's like, oh, they're not extraterrestrial, they're interdimensional aliens. And he's like, okay, fine, George, I'll do it. But they're literally, if you just look at them, they're just such aliens.
Yeah, that's funny.
But they do, like, that's, you know, they come from that other dimension and that, remember there's like the shrine. Of
Yeah,
the
they're all
statues?
sitting there.
Kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. I don't remember it well enough, and I remember we were like,
I've seen it so many times.
oh, okay. I remember we saw it at the we were like an impressional age where like every movie was
2008.
good kind of thing. So
And it was just like, yeah, that novelty of like, oh, it's back was
Yeah.
very high.
Yeah.
And
are you feeling that novelty this time?
no.
Me
No,
either.
I'm not. And I was really excited for this. Like, and there was just so much good buzz about it. Like the whole standing
thing,
ovation.
yeah.
So I was getting pretty hyped. And then obviously I haven't looked at a ton, but it looks like the reception has been lukewarm.
Sounds
to
like it's
say the
been
best.
mixed, and like my whole thing is like Indiana Jones it's a well-known IP, but it hasn't been relevant in a long time.
Yeah.
So like,
You're saying like, is there an audience for it?
yeah, like I'm basically saying like is there an audience for it? And like, you know, we talk about like box office flops, box office flops or like financial losses, but at the same time, like I could see this being a good movie.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make its money back, which is like, you know, that I'm not going to concern myself with that because I'm here to watch a movie, right?
Yeah, but it's hard not to. But Indiana Jones 4 made a lot of money. It was,
Really?
Yeah. It was like, I think it's like 800 million. John, can you stop sneezing and check on the box office of Crystal Skull worldwide?
And so just while we're on this topic, the budget for this,
I'm
I'm obsessed with this. There's like news articles, they're trying to bury it. It's finally come out. 295 million. People suspect it's closer to $300 million for Indiana Jones for a movie. What do we got? Oh wow, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull made 790 million.
It did well.
And it doesn't sound like this is going to do as well.
I'd be stunned if this gets near that.
I think it's going to be a better movie.
Yeah. And I that was one question I was going to ask you, is like, is that is that the bar for you? Like, it just has to be better than Crystal Skull and you'll be decent.
Yeah, no, I think using like recency bias, it's got to be better than Jungle Cruise. It's got to be better than the action adventures that we've seen. I never watched, was it Lost City or whatever? I never watched that.
No, I didn't watch it either.
But I want this to stay with me longer than like 2 hours. Yeah.
And I think it has a good chance of it. Like, I'm really happy with the director. Like, James Mangold's probably the best guy they could have got out and got.
He wrote it too.
He wrote it, and I was looking at some of the history. So Spielberg was actually attached to direct as recently as 2020, which really surprised me. Like, I thought he was never slated to direct this, and he eventually kind of stepped down because he was doing all these other projects, and it seemed like he was directly involved with like appointing James Mangold, and he still stayed on as like a producer. Yeah, but this is the first one with like no George Lucas involvement at all.
Okay, there is no George. That's interesting. I know James Mangold. I think Kathleen Kennedy's got her fingers on this again, and I know he went to her and was like, "I need more time." So the COVID happened. There was like some gaps. So they gave him another year.
I mean, that's good
to write. Previous James Mangold movies include The Wolverine.
So I've got a bunch of films here. Like,
list them off for me.
Really speaks how versatile he is. So the first notable one that I knew was Copland, which is a really gritty Stallone police drama from like the early 90s.
Is it good, or is that your Stallone bias seeping through?
No. Check the RT.
John, can we get the RT of Copland, please?
He gained like 40 pounds for the role.
Oh, great.
Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh.
He directed that. 3:10 to Yuma.
Okay.
Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz for some reason.
Okay.
We're looking at a 75% Rotten Tomatoes for Copland.
Okay, that's not bad.
The Wolverine.
Yeah, The Wolverine, was that a good movie?
Not really. It was disappointing. But it has incredible moments, and it looks incredible.
Yeah.
Logan. I don't know why I said it like that. Logan.
L to the OG.
Yeah, probably like one of the best superhero movies ever made, I would say. Like, I
would agree with that.
Yeah.
It's everything you want in a superhero movie. Yeah. Dark, gritty.
Like
when you're sick and tired
Wolverine movie,
when you're sick and tired of like colorful Marvel palettes and quippy jokes.
Rated R. Yeah. Good story, great action, tremendous acting.
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Really?
Christian Bale and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And he is now, do you know what he's directing next?
Yeah, the fucking Star Wars trilogy.
No, he's off of that.
But he got booted off of that?
Yeah, well, he is doing Swamp Thing for James Gunn's Gods and Monsters Chapter 1 of the new DCU.
What?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's confirmed.
He's doing Gods and Monsters?
It's called Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters.
So they're going to take DC heroes and fucking Monsterverse.
No, Swamp Thing has always been in like the DC comics.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Fuck, okay. You have me.
Batman versus Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. Solomon Grundy and Frankenstein. Okay, I got a second fast question for you here. Get back on track. Okay. Short round post credits.
No.
I bet you. So this is a little tangent. I bet you they're fucking kicking themselves for not getting Ke Huy Quan in there.
Yeah, I bet.
Like Oscar-winning performance, like fan loved, globally loved, can do all the stunts.
But they just chose to neglect him.
I know. They're probably
just wasn't worth it.
Maybe they'll get a fucking short round Disney Plus spinoff.
Yeah. I mean, that's an important thing I've got here. Apparently it's been announced by Disney. They consider this the definitive end of the franchise.
I would say so, yeah.
They're not going to be like fucking around with, spinoffs and all that. They're just going to let this exist. I think they just accepted. No one's going to accept like a daughter or a son or another, even recast. Just leave it.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. Yep. That's one thing I'm happy with. I imagine this is going to have a lot of like finality to it.
That's good. Final fast questions was a bit of a joke. Will Indy fall in a pit of snakes and say, snakes, why did it have to be snakes?
I certainly hope not. If that's like the level that this movie has to offer.
I think we're getting a lot of fan service. A lot of fan service.
Do you think there's a chance that this kind of ventures into like a more dark and gritty tone? Like in terms of at least where we meet Indy? Do you think he's just like I had one of my opening scenes here. Okay, this is going to segue in nicely.
We hit an opening scene?
Yeah, hit an opening scene.
Okay.
Because I think it's all but guaranteed we open with a thrilling chase with young Indy trying to find the Dial of Destiny the first time.
Okay, it's not what I had, but yeah.
Okay. So it's a big explosive sequence, young Indy, fully blown, and then we fast forward and catch up to Indy now.
Yeah.
And I think we'll either see him like really leaning into the age thing, like he's in bed.
He's like taking medication. He's got a little tremor or something.
He's just struggling to even like get out of bed, you know? He's just really going through it. Or drunk Indy in a bar and like these like young kids are being like noisy and he gets in like a bar fight and gets his ass just kicked by these like young guys.
And Phoebe Waller-Bridge walks up and says like, you can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. My opening scene's a bit different. We're in a New York museum and it's got multiple displays outlining the quests of the great Dr. Jones.
Thrilling. Sorry, no, that's good.
There's artifacts, like a fake Ark of the Covenant. Phoebe Waller-Bridge stands at an exhibit where it's like a mirror and it like puts a hat on her.
Oh, wow. So he's like a famous icon even in this world.
Yeah. And then Mads walks up and starts talking about artifacts of power and how they've always gone missing at certain times. And while he's giving this voiceover, it's like a museum heist stealing a key from the exhibit that will take us on our adventure.
It's like he's distracting her?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very, very specific, very creative.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay. I got a couple more things here.
Do you want to do sideys before we dive into this?
Yeah, I only have one. So, yeah, you go for it, and then I'll just...
I got Transformers The Last Night.
Oh, God.
Yeah, couldn't stay away from the franchise after we did Rise of the Beast.
The bug. I mean, you're a true fan, so...
I am a true fan, but let me tell you, that movie is some of the hottest garbage. Probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Insane. It's noticeably worse than Rise of the Beast, like, in terms of its quality?
In terms of the quality, like, the action... I watched it with our producer and like we were just in shock. Like, you know, we started like riffing it in the first 15, 20 minutes and like within like an hour and a half, we were like, I don't know if we can finish this. It's that bad.
It's insane how
it's Michael Bay too. Like,
I imagine Mark Wahlberg feels incredibly just like phone in that entire movie. Is he like even in it or do they like reduce his?
Oh no, he's fucking in it. He's like, he's in it more than the fucking robots.
He's keeping it up as best he can.
Cade Yeager.
Oh God.
And Anthony Hopkins is pretty good in it. He's pretty funny, but you know, he's Anthony Hopkins. I don't think he phones in anything. So
no, it's true. I just got The Bear season 1.
Oh, nice.
I think I may have mentioned it to you briefly, but really is like one of the best series I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Crazy creative camera work, super funny, very fast paced. Could not recommend it more.
And season 2 is out.
It comes out. It's out, but it comes out on like my streaming service like July 17th or something.
Okay. And just quickly, I finished Succession.
Oh yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Incredible. But let's get back to Indy here.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Obviously, de-aging is going to be a prevalent part of this.
That's the hot topic. So James Mangold said there is no recasting, there is no de-aging, right?
No, there is.
Is that what he said? He said Harrison Ford is the main character.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the main character, but I think in these de-aging sequences, it's obviously supposed to be like young Indy. And so how much is he doing in those scenes just remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. I think he'll do all the dialogue stuff. Then it's, you know, the fight scenes and stuff. He's just too old.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, my first line here is I'm extremely wary. And I'm also like very aware of what an 80-year-old can do. You know what I mean? Like I can't have Harrison Ford in present day sprinting across the street, whipping something and fucking flying across, crashing into a bodega. Like, I cannot do that.
I imagine that's why they're going to rely on these like flashback sequences to...
You keep going on these flashbacks. Am I missing something? Like, is it confirmed?
Well, in the very first teaser, they pull off the bag off of his head and he's like young. It's a quick moment, but you can see that there's de-aging.
Okay.
So that's why I think that basically my guess for the plot is there's this dial of destiny which can alter history.
Yeah, I can have the wearer can turn back time pretty much.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be it's going to be hard to describe. Like him doing that, and then he's obviously going to go back in time, and I feel like his past self is going to have opportunities to change like things that he did. Like maybe he goes back to that opening sequence that I described because they're trying to like alter history because the Nazis are trying to get it so they can like
So you think we'll get like the swap and the boulder scene again from a different perspective?
I think they'll stay away from that. I think it's like a mission that you never saw from him. I don't think we're going to be revisiting.
I think we're getting the boulder. I think we're going to get the fucking boulder.
Oh man.
He's gonna be like so coy about it with like, he's like, oh, I just step to the left here.
Yeah.
I've done this about 100 times now or something. That'll be the twist.
No, that would be really bad because that's just like Endgame essentially.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So yeah, we don't want that, but I think it's gonna be the Nazis want to go back and like stop Hitler from being killed or whatever, and like, have like this Nazi empire.
Okay.
And I feel like the ultimate decision is gonna be like Indiana Jones basically gets the choice of like, do I stop history from happening? Which is like part of the theme of the movie. He's not happy with like how his life's gone. So he's like, oh, if I like say if it is like stop World War II, I could like live this like happy life. Or do I like leave things as they were?
I see.
And I feel like he'll make the hero's decision and leave things.
Okay, yeah.
It's up to people to like decide what happens, not like one person.
Interesting. And like he gets stuck in the past or some shit.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
we get a weird like happy ending for him somehow.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not sure how it's gonna all connect, but they gotta be careful because this could get dodgy. It could not be good if it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta have a little bit of faith in James Mangold.
Yeah.
Got a question here. Will Mads?
Sorry, my ultimate question was: does de-aging bother you in like other movies you've seen it in? Do you think it's a good storytelling device, or is it just not there?
In The Irishman, it was almost not, it was pretty much not noticeable for me. So
Except when he called him kid. Hey, kid. He's like clearly still 70 years old.
I don't remember that. But
slightly less gray hair.
I think we're at a point where it's like it's not as intrusive. It's not Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, it's not. Unfortunately, Paul Walker in Furious 7. That was like,
or General Tarkin in Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Rogue One, will Mads be done dirty by another franchise? Fantastic Beasts, Doctor Strange, Rogue One.
Oh wow.
You have an incredible actor, incredible presence.
Yeah.
Who just, I don't know if
he can't miss in this. He'll do.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he likes doing North American films. I think he prefers like Danish cinema. I'm serious. I'm fucking serious, John.
Yeah, The Hunt.
Yep.
One of the best. Yeah, he's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, but the vast majority of his films are like Hollywood films.
I think he does one in one.
Oh, does he?
I think he does one in
Did
one.
another round, like the drinking one?
Yeah, that's Danish.
I know. I think it's German, actually.
I think it's Danish.
I could be wrong. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what he does. I think he always gives a great performance.
Best Mads performance?
Oh, it's Le Chiffre.
Yes. Just ignore all his Danish cinema. The one with James Bond.
Yeah. So sick.
I wrote down, I'm looking for a strong adventure, multiple locations with the map of the red line.
Yeah.
I want lots of booby traps, lots of clues,
Stab me for a sec.
lots of puzzles, but I do want like an air of mystery where I love movies where the audience is kind of playing along, trying to figure
like
out
a
at
good
the
twist,
same time.
like
Yeah,
something clever,
exactly.
Clever storytelling.
Like National Treasure is a great example.
Yeah.
It's like, it's obviously very unrealistic that like these like pillars can move and stuff, but it's always fun to be like, oh, where are we going next?
Yeah.
What is it going to lead to this? Where's it going to lead to that?
Yep.
What's going to happen, right?
Yeah, and you're engaged enough. You're enjoying what you're watching.
Yep.
Action's good. Action's going to be tricky because obviously we're dealing with an 80-year-old protagonist.
Yeah.
So are we just constantly going to be just, I don't buy that. Like,
That's my biggest concern. I'm just going to be like, eh.
or is it just like someone else doing all the work, all the action for him?
But even then, I
using his
cannot,
brains.
I cannot,
So they're all
oh.
crashing around. He like takes like the little shortcut through or whatever.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Fuck. I have a line here. Do you think we'll get a joke or like a line where Mads tells Indy, he's like, you're too old. You belong in a museum.
Most certainly.
I think we will get that. Yeah.
That's the most sure thing prediction I've heard from you in quite some time.
I got a joke here about how our character doesn't really know what a whip is or like greatly underestimates its capabilities.
Right.
Like
Who
you don't
uses
know
those?
that. You need one of these, and he pulls like a Tommy gun, and Indy like whips it out of his hands.
Yep.
Watch yourself, Junior.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so one other question for you is, what can this movie do differently to improve on like the mentor relationship? Because it looks like they're taking another swing at like Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, they are, hey?
Yeah, I think she's like the sidekick or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's going to be like long lost relative or
Daughter.
yeah. I don't think they'll go for
Your
daughter.
brother.
Yeah, Mutt's wife maybe.
I think like as long as they're not doing like a passing of the mantle, which you kind of talked about. Just like come along for the adventure, much like what Short Round did in the second film, right? He's just there. He exists. They're having fun.
They're having fun.
I don't think Indy needs to teach anyone anything.
Yeah,
I think it's more about
just needs
like
this person's skills to
exactly
get the job
yeah
done.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like this movie, like, I feel like I don't need any heart in this movie. I just want, like, a
You-
fun action
You're
adventure
gonna get
romp.
lots of heart. I think it's gonna try and go for the. Do you think Indiana Jones dies? Let's get that out of the.
I don't think he dies. I think kind of what you said, that he kind of stays in the past, like Steve Rogers style.
He chooses to stay in the past.
Yeah. With like Karen Allen or something like that or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
You want a happy ending for the big man.
Yeah, exactly. Time play is interesting though, because it's like, is he going to replace past Indy? Are there going to be two Indiana Jones? Is he going to be fighting himself in a scene?
Yeah. No.
I
surely not.
fucking hope not.
Grab the snake. I know.
You don't like these? Steals his hat.
Yeah.
Looks better on me. Sean Connery voiceover, little homage, picture maybe. We got a picture.
Yeah,
in,
we get another picture.
yeah.
Oh no, there was a picture in he's like first then dad.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll get that again.
Yeah.
I'm almost as old as you were. I think I actually might get that.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think I alluded to Jungle Cruise earlier, and it's just like, I know I'm gonna get something of better quality, probably a lot more heart,
Yeah.
and a lot more thought out than
Yeah, they've taken their time with this one. and
Definitely.
They're not trying to like relaunch a franchise. It's just like, let's make one good movie.
yeah.
So I have a feeling we're probably gonna like it more
I think so.
than maybe
Yeah,
like the consensus.
yeah. Hey, have you ranked your indies? Did you know our producer hasn't seen 1, 2, or 3?
Most people have seen 1 and 4, but
I've seen 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
I've seen 1 like
I don't really
so
like
many fucking times.
Yeah. I'd go 1, 3, 4, 2. The second one just gives me this nasty dark feeling.
It's freaky. Yeah, I would go 1, 3, 2.
I hate
2,
how it's a
4,
prequel
probably.
as well. It just bothers me so much. It's supposed to take place before the first one.
Is that the one where it starts where he's like running on the train and he like
No, that's the third
gets
one.
the whip, gets the hat,
No,
lands
that's
in
like the
snakes?
River Phoenix like intro, right?
River Phoenix is in the third one.
He's young. He's like young Indiana.
Oh shit!
yeah.
Wow.
I'm like 90% sure, but
You look that up for me.
Temple
please?
of Doom's the one that starts like at the ball. It's like a gala or casino or something.
I just remember the traps in Temple, or not? In the Last Crusade was really good. Like when they're like stepping on the tiles and stuff,
Yeah.
drinking the chalice.
Yeah. The Holy Grail.
Yeah.
That's actually really good. Yeah. No, I stick with my order.
Oh, River Phoenix is young Indy.
There you go.
Nice.
Little fun fact for you.
That's good.
If you just going on like the future, like if they were, because that's one thing I could potentially see them doing, like a Disney Plus young Indiana Jones reboot.
For like children, then.
No, it's like big budget. They're trying to make it like a Mandalorian type impact.
Okay.
Who would you cast?
I'm like Tom Holland's just popping out, but he's
Oh,
probably
don't give him
he's
another
too
fucking
big.
franchise.
He's too big.
I think he's better suited for that than Nathan Drake.
What's that? Asa Butterfield, maybe.
Kind of a bitch.
Yeah, but he's got that like soft cheek look. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Scott
Taron Egerton.
Eastwood?
Scott Eastwood. He fucking wishes. Taron Egerton, maybe.
It's the same people.
Yeah, I know.
Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, that's
There
not
you go.
bad.
Yeah.
Who plays Q again?
Oh,
Ben Whishaw.
Ben Whishaw.
Whishaw.
Yeah. Whishaw.
Whishaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
But I think if they were to do a young indie, I think it would be marketed towards like 10-year-olds.
Yeah, and I just feel like the odds of it working. I think they're starting, like Disney seemed to be like starting to sense the room of like what people are responding
Yeah,
to,
I
and
feel
then
like
they're
that.
just like, you know what? What's the fucking point?
You
Everyone's gonna
make
fucking
shit
hate it.
TV
Yeah.
shows like
with like slender budget.
Yeah.
Everyone just rips it apart.
You started Secret Invasion yet?
Yeah, I've seen the first episode.
Is it good?
It's better than like She-Hulk.
Yeah, I could see that.
The intro is amazing, like the title sequence.
Okay.
I don't know who the fuck they hired for that, but it looks so good.
Okay, nice.
There's some good moments.
Olivia Colman. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, she's good in the first episode. Martin Freeman just never does it for me in that franchise. The most boring character.
I don't know,
Somehow
he
got so many
shoehorned in,
appearances.
yeah.
I'm like, why does he keep coming up?
Can't believe he was in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. I work for you, but I also work for other people, all right? Just gets convinced to do things in every scene.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it. Anyway. I don't really have that much more to say about this movie. I'm just quite excited to go see it.
I think I'm excited. I think this is a movie Creed 3, you know, we had good buzz. Like Transformers, we kind of knew we were kind of getting like, oh, I hope it's good for what it is.
Yeah.
I think this movie, I'm going to remove those training wheels and be like, you know what, deliver me a good movie.
So your expectations are a little higher than...
They're a bit higher, yeah. They're a bit higher than good for what it is.
Because why get all the band back together? Why risk Harrison Ford kind of being embarrassed?
Well, yeah. Well, there was like like you said, there was like the con buzz where they lift the review embargo early because they were so confident. It started to dip a bit, but critics were coming out and being like, I don't know what's going on. Like, this movie's incredible. So it's like, what is going on? Box office flop aside, I think it can still deliver a good movie.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll be analyzing. I agree. Like, I'm going to be analyzing this one quite hard. Like, I expect I'm not going to give it any free passes.
Yeah.
It's got to be good.
I don't want to be checking. What are you wearing today? I don't want to be checking the Apple Watch today. So
Definitely. It's long.
yeah, but
Two
strap in. Okay.
Nice. What is this thing?
What is this thing in front of my face?
We are back from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yep.
I know we kind of said we're maybe not doing the straight up ratings anymore, but you want to just jump into some early thoughts on the film?
I quite liked it. I quite enjoyed it.
It was better than I was expecting it to be. I thought I was going to be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
If we just kind of kick it off from the top here.
Yeah.
We open with just what can only be described as like one of the best scenes in the entire franchise, I thought.
The train sequence.
Yeah, the opening flashback, which I'll take a ding for.
Yep.
I thought it was just like everything about it was just real, proper, authentic filmmaking. Indiana Jones
Felt very indie.
Crazy sets, production design everywhere. The score by John Williams was just incredible
throughout the movie.
Yeah, through the whole movie. But I feel like it really shined in that opening scene.
Indy's getting by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, still up to no good.
Yeah, devilishly smart.
The thick of the end of World War II, and we kind of meet our protagonist we meet our antagonist who is looking for this object that he believes can rewrite destiny, essentially, but he's completely overshadowed as a great villain is. Yeah, and kind of pushed to the side.
In the scene, in
that opening scene.
Yeah. Okay. Then we cut to present day.
Yeah. Meet Indy kind of are on the right track. Like he's lumbering through life. And
he's old, and the movie's not afraid to show his age.
It does a great job of it. It does it starts with him just waking up and there's a loud party. And he's like all bitter, and you see him like pretty like in his underwear basically. Yeah. And they're kind of showing his physique is obviously old, but he's still in great shape for his age.
Yeah. I love that I don't know if you noticed this, but like it's the day that the astronauts came back from the moon or whatever. Moon Day. And like he just didn't care. He cares more about the past.
Yeah. He's stuck in like a modern era that he doesn't really belong in. Students are disengaged. But even that scene was just beautiful. Like the way he was so upset they don't care, but once he starts talking about history, you see
he just gets going, right?
Yeah. And his goddaughter is there,
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, Helena. Yeah, who is just as mischievous as Indy. Yeah, she's
But I like that they didn't go the mentor route, which is what we talked about. We didn't, or at least I didn't want that. She's just as capable. Kind of had her own thing going on.
Yeah, and not like a perfect, good guy. She's got her ulterior motives.
Very money motivated, which worked.
Yeah, and they basically end up he gets pulled into her adventure looking for her dad's, basically trying to fulfill her dad's studies and work, who was there at the train scene and ended up going insane trying to figure out how this thing worked. Yep. And it was good. It was just, we can't go through step by step the whole movie, but
it was like the action sequences, sweet. Oh my God. The action sequences were phenomenal.
Yeah, they really were.
We had a tuk-tuk chase scene.
Yeah. That just went on forever, like in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. And I thought that they did a good way of not hiding, but like smart ways of showing that, like, there wasn't much Harrison Ford sprinting and, he'd be on a horse or he'd be driving. Yeah.
Not a lot of hand-to-hand combat, which is good. Like there's a few pushes and a few, like he takes quite a few punches, but they don't try to make it seem like he couldn't win a fight against.
Exactly. Like when he first gets captured, he like tries to disarm the guy and they just like grab him. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing? I really like that. I really enjoyed that.
And there's a good amount of him, using his intelligence and stuff. And some really heartfelt moments, some great gutty performances from him where,
Yeah.
he's tearing up quite a bit in this movie.
Well, Indy's like he never. Correct me if I'm wrong here, John. But he never really liked Han Solo, but he always loved Indy. I think, yeah. That's true. Okay,
and you definitely feel that here.
Yeah,
you feel he's really into it, and,
for sure.
we were kind of laughing and joking about it, but it's like it seems like he's kind of hanging by a thread in a lot of the scenes, like
yeah.
And it's just because he's like he wanted to end this character's journey on a better note than I feel like he did.
Yeah.
Than he got to before. So there are definitely moments where it's like I think the action scenes do struggle a little bit as a result of like what they can do with him. Like
yeah, like you would have loved to have seen like a parkour rooftop scene.
Yeah, you're not gonna get.
You're not getting that.
Yeah, there's like scenes where he's like trying to run and it makes you feel a little bit like down almost.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's kind of sad.
But he's out there and he's doing it, right?
For sure. And I think overall they did a good job. There's a few issues. The only real issues I had are just like the pacing. I feel like there were some parts where it really slowed down.
Yeah.
And the urgency like wasn't really there, but that's kind of a nitpick. Like it's a long sprawling adventure, so you can't expect, all the indie movies have like slow moments where
Yeah. What did you think of Phoebe Waller-Bridge? I thought she was like incredible. I know the group we were with kind of had some comments and some notes. I thought every time she's on the screen, like her acting abilities are
I thought her acting was
incredible.
Really good. I think it was more like some of her lines, like some of her comedy jokes, like they just weren't that well written. So like
I don't know, man.
Some things were a bit
she was just
cringy.
doing it for me. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Teddy?
He's doing it for me as
No,
well.
he
He was.
wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
you know how much
there.
I hate child actors, but I thought he was.
He was
Very good, very non-offensive. Kind of played the short round character very
we
well.
weren't going to steal. Or we were
No,
going to steal.
no, that's you doing a shitty impression.
No, I thought he was quite bad. Nothing against the kid.
That's fine. I don't know. Maybe I'm just riding on cloud nine right now.
Yeah.
But like,
Speaking of which, I thought Mads Mikkelsen was excellent.
he was good, but again, I don't know.
wow.
Mads never gets to do enough. He never gets to do
I
enough.
think they gave him a lot in this one.
I wanted him to like scream, punch, do something. He's just kind of talking about physics and walking around talking about physics.
But
And
he
then
had this menacing feeling to him, and towards the end when they're in the plane and he
It's
realizes
mathematics.
that he was wrong.
That was good.
Great.
That
I don't
was a good
belong
scene.
here. You're just like freaking out.
Yeah.
That
But then, like, I don't know. I wanted to maybe a little showdown with him and Indy on the beach or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there's no like final confrontation between like the good guy and the
but
bad guy.
I think maybe that was on purpose. Because like,
yeah.
I feel like the screenwriters don't want to give like. They love giving the Nazis like the worst deaths possible,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
nice. Like that drowning death was fucking brutal.
And like the spikes, the truck that was like full of straw
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
crazy. I just want to give this movie a lot of credit for how excited I felt during the climax. Like
Yeah.
when it all kind of comes together, it kind of plays out. You're like, okay, they're going to end up going back in time. That's pretty early on. That's your hunch.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I definitely thought it was going to go back to Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And there was going to be a big like castle final sequence.
Yeah.
But then the continental drift thing was just really cool.
Yeah.
And Indy basically cracks this plan that he's got to go back and kill Hitler, which also was cool.
I didn't get that. Why was he trying to kill Hitler?
He wanted to like be the more ruthless leader.
Oh, okay,
And he's like,
okay.
I've seen all the mistakes, so I'm gonna do it the right way.
Okay.
And then, but he realizes that the coordinates are off, and
Yeah.
lo and behold, like they've been hinting at it with like, so they find these hieroglyphics earlier in the movie, and she's like, oh, like some of these have like propellers on them.
Yeah. And
that
the
was-
watch.
Yeah, and the watch, and then you realize, like, I will say it was like kind of predictable, but I still love the way they did it.
I didn't see it coming. I definitely didn't see it coming that like the whole purpose Archimedes built this thing was to bring them back to that point in time.
Yeah, it's like a loop. Have you seen Dark? The series?
I've seen the first season.
Okay, it's very like the same concept. Like he wouldn't be able to create that without seeing it in the.
Yeah.
So it's like, where did it begin? So
Yeah.
that was really cool. Like very clever. So he goes back to ancient Rome, meets Archimedes
Yeah,
in the
very
middle of
cool.
a big battle. It was just like crazy bold, and I like that.
But
they
it
were,
worked.
Like,
It worked so well.
I thought it worked way better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, for sure.
It was like equally as risky.
Yep.
And like there were some people that I don't in the theater that weren't really with it. I don't know if you kind of felt that or not.
The people, I don't know, John, I don't know if you're the guys behind us, they were like eating everything up in this
Nice.
movie. They're like,
was like, I'm so confused at the end of it.
ugh.
I heard someone say that as well, but it's not that. He's saying people thought it was confusing, but it's not confusing.
Would you have preferred like because Mads in the beginning gets hit by that train pole, which
Right.
didn't really pay
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Would have liked a little face disfiguration from Mads. You know, he's
Yeah.
not shy from that.
Yeah, that was a bit strange.
Would
eh?
you have? I was kind of half expecting a little time loop.
Yeah, I was expecting that to come
tighter
back.
time
I was like,
loop,
oh,
yeah.
that's
Like Mads has been using it multiple times, but every time he has to go through Indy to get it or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
he goes through Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but this time Indy gets looped in or something.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go like the Prisoner of Azkaban route, where I thought Indy was going to die when he got shot, and then I thought they were going to go back, like, and we were going to see that again. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not down
on the
for this.
train. But I think this is just...
No, at the end in the caves, when he gets shot at the end.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, he's literally about to fucking die, because it looks like he gets shot
Yeah.
right in the heart. But I'm glad they didn't go down that direction. That would have been...
Yeah, that would have been... You
been done.
would have been able to pick it apart as well.
Yeah.
Just been like, why did you do this? Why did you do that?
Exactly.
You don't want to watch a video that says Indiana Jones explained.
Yeah, totally. And as we kind of know, I thought he was going to stay there, and
Yeah,
I really
I thought
did,
so
and
as
become
well.
a part of history, which would have been really beautiful. And maybe there's like some like hieroglyph.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It
his
shows
whip
like
or
it shows
his
a whip.
hat.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you're thinking.
That's exactly. I was like, oh yeah, that checks out.
That works sense. He becomes part of history, but no, she drags him back just in case we want you in a couple of years, Indiana.
Kathleen said I had to bring you back.
No.
Let me stay dead. Yeah, he's clawing at the ground. Archimedes is like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him again. But
No,
you
let
just
the man
never
rest.
know.
Let him rest. He did an incredible job.
And at the end, we learned that Marianne
Yeah.
has come back to see him again, and she's
Yeah.
able to move on. I loved what they did with Mutt and kind of the way they wrote him into the story.
Yeah.
So he obviously enlisted to piss him off, very typical of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up losing his life, and that kind of tore them apart once again.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they didn't, because there's a scene or like a line near the beginning where the newsreel is playing, and it's like Professor Dr. Jones wanted at large for murder after his son, like they mentioned his son died
I
on the
didn't hear
TV,
that.
and I was like, oh god, is that the only mention?
Oh,
they're
I
gonna-
didn't hear that.
Yeah, yeah. I looked over at John, but he didn't hear it either. But yeah, I was like, fuck, they better give something a little more.
I thought
here.
for a sec he was gonna like change that. And
Yeah,
his
I was
son
like,
gonna,
oh,
I
fuck,
thought
like-
she was gonna be at the end, like, hey, Pop.
Yeah, if we go back in time and like
Yeah.
Shia shows up. But
Yeah, because the other direction they could have done is like kind of more endgame style, where it's like they go through like a bunch of different times, like in like a big 20-minute sequence. But I feel like that would have been overkill and just dinosaurs. Who knows? what else
yeah,
they would have
it
done.
could have gotten really silly.
Yeah.
I think they took a big swing with going back to like.
I love the way they
Rome.
did the time travel as well, with the plane flying.
Yeah,
to the
that was
exact
good. Those are good
coordinates. Like,
shots.
It felt
too.
really
the
like
planes were falling through.
yeah,
that was cool.
that was very dope. What did you think of? Is that Jonathan Rhys? Someone? He's the guy from Logan, right? Very similar character.
No, that's
No, it's the guy in Logan with the arm. Definitely the same guy. His like second in command.
Oh, is that? Because I just quickly looked at
I'm a
IMDb.
fan of you.
He was good.
Yeah, I was surprised because it's a James Mangold. I made the connection. I'm like, it's got to be the
I
same
don't know
guy.
if that's the actor's name though.
Oh no, yeah, but it's definitely the same actor.
Yeah,
whoever it is.
yeah.
I thought he was like kind of weirdly similar to that character. But
Yeah.
he had like a cool look to him, like
He
when he
did,
shot his
yeah.
gun in the air. Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
And then of course it was like the big guy. Would have liked Indy to like take a couple shots at the big guy,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Yeah, and speaking of which, like there was some. I love what they did with the eels. Like I thought that was genuinely really
That was
funny.
very smart.
Yeah. How do you do a tire trope but just make it new?
Yeah, and you could tell like the audience in our theater started to like pre-laugh when he
Yeah.
said eels. Like, oh,
He's
they're
like,
kind of
no,
like
they
snakes."
don't.
Yeah,
That was great.
that was
It's
good.
almost like this little Boyd Holbrook. But
Oh, okay, yeah, same actor.
yeah, like there was like really great moments like that. I loved the whole like deep diving sequence. And,
Yeah.
like, learning how the equipment worked and like the rope line.
Yeah.
It was tense. I was like, oh, what the fuck's gonna happen here?
It was
Like-
good, and it was like that diving sequence was like is very grounded. I don't want to say
Yeah.
in reality, but it was just like it seemed
felt-
more plausible. Remember in the last night in Transformers Last Night, there's a diving sequence, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
This is nice,
Yeah, it felt real and like they felt limited by the equipment
time
that they had.
appropriate. Yeah,
Yeah, very much so.
The boat, where you can see them boarding the boat, was really cool. They're underwater.
Yeah.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, some really great shots in this movie. Very beautiful looking. I thought it was like a bit weird how they just met up with like his friends and they just took him on a boat, super expensive expedition. Like I was waiting for that. It seemed like they were going to betray them,
It
right?
seemed like they were, yeah,
And they kind of did that on purpose, I feel.
yeah.
But that never, there are a few little things they kind of put in there that just never really go anywhere.
It keeps you guessing, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Not everything has to pay off.
Yeah,
right? I don't
that's
know.
true.
All right, now let's just pick the shit apart about this movie.
The one thing I did not like was when they enter the cave.
Yeah,
in Sicily. It's like,
cave.
there's tourists crawling all
Yeah.
over it. It's like you're telling me no one's fucking found this place.
Exactly. That's
Climb
exactly
up
what I was
one
going
little
to.
ledge,
And I was
like-
like, when there was the bridge was there, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like
An
So
ancient
people have
bridge.
explored this bridge, or has this bridge never been seen before?
Yeah.
And they cross it so willy-nilly. They're like, all right, let's go this
Yeah.
way.
That was dumb. And like the water filling scene, I wasn't really into that. It's like
I
all these
wanted,
things
I
are
wanted
still
a bit
there.
more of the, like, 2 more water filling type scenes to get us to the tomb would
Yeah.
have been fine. But it's just like
it
one
felt like it
bridge,
wasn't
one
that
water
well
filling,
hidden.
and then we're
Yeah.
there. And like the tomb wasn't even covered with brick. They just pulled back some cloth.
Yeah.
It was like perfectly preserved bones. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't love
A
this.
few moments like that. For
Did you like the
sure.
bug sequence? That's an homage, I think.
Yeah, it was okay. I didn't
It
hate
just
it.
kind of happened.
Yeah, I was thinking the eels again. You're talking the bugs in that
Yeah.
scene. It didn't really go anywhere. You're right. Just
Yeah.
the centipedes and push them off you, and you're good to go.
Hmm. I guess I didn't like Teddy flying the plane.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
Never flown a plane.
That's why they chucked the guy in the plane
Takes
as well.
off.
This is my plane. I was like, okay, like it gives you some plausibility.
Yeah,
They showed him doing little.
Yeah, they showed him
is
at the very
tense.
beginning, like pretending to fly a plane. The pilot was like teaching
yeah. I mean,
him.
he took off without the pilot completely.
Yeah.
which was just and in a fucking absolute like rainstorm. Like that was
Yeah.
And her Helena catching up to the plane on the motorcycle was a little.
Yeah. I don't know. I was into it in that scene.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, I would have loved to see some short round, some Ki Hui Kwan in there.
That's fair. I thought, the pacing left a little bit to be desired. There was another sequence where the kid is like salty. He's like sulking, and he like steals the money from that kid, and
Gets
then just gets
gelato.
captured. And just the
Yeah.
way that was all kind of like blocked felt really clunky.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just like is walking by the same street and sees it. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, little nitpicky things, but
Yeah, that was a weird sequence. The whole, like, was it Sicily was weird when, like, so the kid gets captured. Indy's like, we got to go get to the cave first. Like, I feel like that's not what you would do. I feel like you'd chase after the kid.
oh yeah, he'll be fine.
I think
like,
when they
really?
get to the cave, from arriving to the cave to finding the tomb was far too convenient and easy.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could have honestly trimmed off some of the train sequence in the beginning and put that more towards cave exploration in
Yeah.
the middle of the movie.
I do think overall, like the more I think back and just revisit all the set pieces, like there were some really cool moments. Like even the
Yeah.
horse riding thing, like dodging the 2 subway
Yeah,
trains.
that was
like,
good.
Again, it's not like insanely unrealistic. Like it's just plausible.
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
And like it's not that complicated. It's just close calls, you know.
Were you on the edge of your seat during these though?
The plane like time travel sequence, I was like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
he's like, it's sure as hell not 1939. I
Yeah.
was like, where are we going?
Then they go through and they're like, "Oh, we did it," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, so we are gonna go to Nazi Germany." Also,
Yeah.
also need to see
It
these
looked like
ships.
Battleship. What
Yeah.
made you think it was like?
Then I was like, "Whoa, fuck! I didn't see that guy."
It did a good job. It's hard to get that feeling of wonder anymore.
yeah,
But that one moment definitely had. it.
yeah, for sure.
And I felt like the whole train chase in the beginning when Indy's like fit and in his prime. I did think the de-aging looked a little
It was a
dodgy.
little bit suspicious. And they
Yeah.
kept his 80-year-old voice.
Yeah, he's like he's like slurring his words.
Wash out of me.
We'll never survive the war.
Indy survived a lot of explosions. That was kind of weird.
Like I like the TNT lighting thing. That was clever.
Yeah.
She used the cigarette and took it from him. Like really played on his like love of history to sucker him into it.
It's mathematics.
yeah.
I'm trying to think it was good. It wasn't like I wasn't fully invested.
Right.
Like I was aware of time. Like I've harped on this, but we talk about Spider-Verse where like I just lost track of time.
yeah. It was never that engaging.
Except when they went through the time portal.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is
Totally.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, there was never a moment, even in there, where I was like truly just,
Mm-hmm.
oh, fuck, maybe that opening 10 minutes, I was just a kid, and then I kind of came back.
Yeah, like even the tuk-tuk sequence was impressive, but it did drag a little bit.
Just a little bit. And like the physics of the car were getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes where
Guys
they're going
dumped
down.
Toretto, yeah.
The fucking shaky
His
cam on
reverse,
Harrison's
like,
face.
close control. I'm like, oh my god. But it was good. So, okay, what are your thoughts on the reception? Like,
So I just checked the RT. Was it 67, 88?
88 audience is
88
solid.
audience. I'm leaning towards, like, I don't think it's an 8.8 out of 10, but I'm definitely leaning towards an 88 audience.
Do you think this will maybe be a movie that, you know, because we just live in like a very scrutinous time where everything kind of gets, do you think as time kind of settles, people will just start to be like, you know what?
Yeah, I think people,
What more do you want?
I think people will look fondly upon this movie.
Yeah.
And I know, like,
Agreed.
is what, Raiders came out in the 80s.
87, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it's 86, but
Okay.
but I think that generation will love this movie.
Yeah. I think I noticed the audience was old.
It was a bit older, yeah. I
No-
know
no
my,
kids.
my parents were like massive Raiders fans.
Right.
So I think
Yeah. I feel like my dad will want to watch this.
yeah, would you go to a second viewing theaters?
No.
Jamie's paying though.
Yeah. Probably still no.
And then
It's gonna be tough.
my benchmark is, would you recommend this movie a theater movie
I
to
would.
people?
If someone's like, oh, like I'm thinking of going to see it, I'd push it.
There's a big lineup out right now, right? There's Flash, there's
Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
I'm sure it's better than The Flash. I've heard pretty bad things about The Flash. It's crazy. Just came out with so much hype.
I know, and it just
What
felt
happened?
so flat.
You just can't predict these days. It's a minefield.
What kind of
out
numbers
there.
is Indy doing?
It
Opening?
did. I heard it at 60 million US
That's
opening
not
weekend.
Great. That's
It's
not great. You want to be hitting 95, 100.
Yeah, you can see why it was 300 million.
Yeah,
like
it looks great.
yeah, it's a beautiful looking movie.
Great set pieces.
I really can't stress as well how good that score was. Like,
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, that was amazing.
like it really was. I'd say like Oscar nomination.
Yeah, hats off to John Williams. Like
He still fucking got it, man.
it was
Somehow.
fucking good.
I'm just looking at the RT of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I wonder if that's like rotten. 23% or something.
No, I think it's higher than that. It's like weirdly high. 77
Wow.
critic and a 53 audience. That tells you a lot.
Yeah,
It tells you that
Indies for the audience, dude.
it tells you that Indy's for the audience, and it tells you that just sometimes like the critic score isn't really that much to go on. It's just not always right. Because
Yeah.
you can't tell me that this movie was worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because I
No.
won't have it.
How would you rank it against the OG 3? I know that's hard. It's hard for us because
Yeah.
we're not too familiar with them.
We don't have that attachment to it. So
Yeah.
I find those movies, especially 2 and 3, like decently boring.
Mm.
And I know that's like people would like have issues
Yeah,
with that.
you get shredded for saying that. You know, I think
Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty, and
But
I think I honestly feel the same.
Yeah, the first one is even quite boring in certain parts, like where they go to Nepal, like that just drags. It really does. So in terms of how much I just enjoyed watching them, I'd probably put this one like, oh god, probably like 1. I'm just gonna say 1's the best.
Yeah,
but I get extra.
everyone loves Raiders.
Yeah, probably 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, some shit like
yeah,
that.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
It was fun. I'd watch it again.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
That we got that It Belongs in a Museum.
Yeah, a couple, 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, and we got a. Yeah, I guess we got a snakes, but
We got some whipping. We got some shooting.
Never used much of that. It's always kind of like really
Yeah.
scarce.
it's used as a scare tactic. Yeah.
Yeah. And he used it with the gun on the train at the beginning. He like disarmed someone with it. And I did like you kind of touched on, like there were some really good deaths. Like it was a bit more like violent than I was expecting in a good way,
Yeah.
which I guess those movies are kind of known
a lot
for.
of people just got shot in the face.
Yeah, or just like pushed, like horrible deaths. Like
Yeah.
and he just left that guy to drown. Remember the kid?
Yeah.
Just like handcuffed him. and
Yeah. That's not
It was
bad.
like, is that what you just said?
Well, I brought that up at the start of the show.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's just and how long it lingered on it. I'm like, this guy's going through agony right now.
I think that's a hallmark of indie, though.
right.
Of an indie.
Oh, there was
of an
a
indie
speaking of
film.
which, there was a Willem scream.
Yes. That was good.
Yeah,
That's good.
crowd liked that one as well. We're gonna end on a Willem scream.
No. Yeah, no, okay, just to recap, I think it was a great movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was like, I don't want to give it out of 10, but like I'm having a hard time finding issues with
Yeah.
it. Like
the only real issue for
Mads
me
kind of
was-
got killed off.
yeah
It
unceremoniously.
ended very abruptly. Like we were in, 509 BC, and then also, we're back here.
yeah, he was unconscious the entire time. from,
Yeah.
like, one
I mean,
punch
that's
to the
it's a
face.
classic trope, right?
That was a bit weird, and it felt like they had to. And it comes back to the pacing. Like I think because
Yeah.
some certain scenes were too long, all of a sudden they had to like wrap everything up really
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
And it felt a bit odd. I do think it would have been better. I think I would have preferred an ending where he stayed there. And I think I heard something about an alternate ending.
Yeah, or if he even if he like dies in her arms there,
Yeah.
but he like takes the final shot is him taking it in,
And he's just
like,
happy.
I made it or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
He's like, I truly love history.
I don't need, yeah, exactly. I don't need him to like live his life out there, but yeah,
because
I
he
think
already
could-
tried the happy ending thing,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's just not who he really is at heart. Like he doesn't want to live in his apartment.
Yeah, and he's like, I have nothing to live for anymore. He's like, there's nothing
Yeah.
for me.
But he's got
And,
like, you're gonna try another fling. It's clearly not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of selfish from her. She's like, I might need you, so you come back with me. You stay.
Yeah.
So much that he got shot. So like the beginning of the third act, he made it the whole time. That's a really bad shot.
Well, he drank the elixir of life in the Last Crusade, so.
Maybe that's keeping him going. Yeah, so this movie's got a steep climb because, like you said, the budget reported 250 to 300. International box office entire first weekend is looking at 152. So it's gonna need good word of mouth, which I feel like everyone in that theater would be like recommending it.
I don't know, like what are the critics not liking about this movie?
And they're just saying like it doesn't live up to the past, like it's not as good as the old ones.
I mean, like, what more do you want?
I know.
What more could you possibly? They probably want like Raiders 2. They want like the Ark of the Covenant to come back.
They just want all they just want all familiar things.
Yeah.
You're saying? Let's just see. Critical response. It isn't as thrilling as earlier adventures, but the nostalgic rush of seeing Harrison Ford back in action helps Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny find a few final bits of cinematic treasure.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about. I don't know if we mentioned like Harrison Ford. Yeah, we did. He wants to be there. He wanted to be in this movie.
He wanted to do it, and you really felt the raw emotion of some of his lines.
And I think that's this will be probably one of the few last movies that you'll see that Harrison Ford will be in that he'll want to be in.
Yeah.
Because he does not want to be in Captain America 4 New World Order.
New World Order. I don't think so.
I don't know why he signed up for that.
You didn't know that? That's what I was joking about. Bring him back for one more franchise.
Yeah.
He's
Captain America 4. He's playing
General Ross.
Thaddeus
/ Red
Ross.
Hulk.
Yeah.
That's a role that's been played by William Hurt first.
Yeah.
Wait, don't put any of this in. I just want to give you he called the film fun, acknowledged comparisons to the previous installments were warranted, but it's also too entertaining to dismiss. You may not lose yourself in this one the way many of us once did with earlier Indiana Jones movies, but you'll certainly have a good time. It has quite a bit of zip and fun and narrative ingenuity with all of its MacGuffin-y silliness. The last one really didn't.
Yeah.
Great premise, exciting action, wonderful banter, fantastic twists and turns. This is a very fun movie, but Indy's arc is poignant and also sad. It's kept in the background, but it's there. Seems like everyone kind of loves it.
Yeah, I think maybe because like Raiders and the first three are like genre defying. So when
Yeah.
you come out with this, it's like, oh, well, like we've seen this before, but it's like you have to remember, like they also created this, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just disagree with some of these negative things. Robbie Collin praised Ford's performance, but felt the film's action sequences were loaded with mayhem, but painfully short on spark and bravado. There's no shot here, no twist of choreography that makes you marvel at the filmmaking mind that conceived it.
Like I can kind of see that.
I
So,
thought
mean,
the
we
choreography
talked.
was really clever, like really
The
well
opening sequence is very, very smart.
done. Yeah, and like jumping from the cars to cars, I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opening the door, doing this. Yeah.
Totally.
You know, there's Indy's always doing something. He's
Yeah.
always got a trick up his sleeves.
It's a fun movie, and I would go if we were doing ratings. It's somewhere in like the 7.5 region.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazing.
Great.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I really
was a
enjoyed
lot of
that.
fun.
I think next up will probably be
Mission
a
Impossible
little
Dead
bit of Mission
Reckoning Part
Impossible.
1.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Christopher McQuarrie gets the gang back together. All right, thank you so much for listening, everyone. So your final recommendations: go see it in theaters.
Yeah. Go see us in theaters. If you're a
Nice.
fan of the genre, you'll like the movie.
Right on.
Well, thanks for listening. I've been Amin.
I've been Anthony. See you soon.